Do you really like Packard Pokes At and want to promote the show? Then go to cafepress.com/PackardPokesAt. There are hundreds of items available, including hats, shirts, hoodies, and so much more. Every purchase from cafepress.com/PackardPokesAt helps support the show. Your Packard Pokes At coffee mug is waiting for you.
Do you want to stream Packard Pokes At on your iPhone or BlackBerry? Download Stitcher free today at Stitcher.com. Stitcher Smart Radio, the smarter way to listen to radio.
This is Packard Sonic with yet another spooky edition of Packard Pokes At, poking at your news.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another fine edition of Packard Pokes At. I am your host, Pope Packard Sonic, or Sonic Pope Pack. I am your Pope Packard Sonic, and joining us tonight from the far East Coast is Joe Undead.
When there's no more room in hell, the dead will walk the earth.
That's right. We call those Republicans here. And joining us from the far West Coast is Connie, Paranormal Magic 9.
They're coming to get you, Packard.
I hope so, and I hope they're bringing a nice large check.
Nice costume, Packard.
Well, thank you. I am the atheist pope, after all, so.
Which means you're not into little boys.
That's right.
You have that secret decoder ring that we kiss, is that right?
That's right. Kiss my ring. Oh, wait, I'm not wearing any rings.
Oh.
I should have picked up some rings. But anyway.
Your staff is a sonic screwdriver.
That's right. That's hence the name. Anyway. All right, let's get going for our first topic for this evening.
Building a better future, science and technology.
If you have a party, especially on this Halloween, and you need a large container for your guests to get their drinks from, and all you've got in your yard are pumpkins, well, good news for you. There's a special tapper that you can take and you shank into an empty out pumpkin. Perfect for Halloween. Shank it. You cut open with this particular device. What you do is you take an ordinary gourd, pumpkin or watermelon in some cases. You take and you open it up, you scoop out all the goodies, and then you put this in there, and then you put your drinks inside this, and then you just use it like a tapper. It's been featured here at Gizmodo. It's about $32, and it looks like a fun device. I mean, it'd be the hit of any party. It was like you go to someone's house and say, "Hey, I want a drink." Oh, go walk over to the nearest pumpkin and get your tap, whatever you want. You get several of these things, and you got your rye, you got your beverage, you got your vodka, whatever you know, and it's all pumpkin flavored. Joe, your thoughts?
They should call this the Lusher Lantern. It's certainly a clever way to use your gourd, but personally, I'd rather build a trebuchet and hurl the pumpkin into the next town.
Oh, this is what you do with it afterwards. You take the trebuchet, you take it just ping. So.
Right. Plus, if you pull the tap out, you could shotgun the whole thing.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, yeah.
So you're saying you should get lit using your pumpkin?
Well, the thing is about these pumpkins, with something like this, I mean, I would be worried about anything, might be floating around in there, might be coming out, and he's like, ooh, you got ick inside there, because that shuts it off and everything there, so.
Raw pumpkin in my drink. This is good. I'm coming to your party next year.
Why does my beer have a long string in it?
Well, you're supposed to have something with the alcoholic beverage, so I guess it's a plus. It's like an hors d'oeuvre and a drink. I don't know.
It's an hors d'oeuvre and a drink. Go ahead, Connie, your thoughts.
Oh, no, I'm grossed out because raw pumpkin is nasty. It's something that, what makes us think of pumpkin pie is actually the spices you put into it. Mm-hmm. But I was looking at well, what else could you do with a pumpkin? And you could hollow it out and just put ice in it and then put bottles of beer in there so that they'd be slimy. They'd be nice and slimy. Yes, but the weirdest thing I saw two things to turn a pumpkin into. One was there's a regatta in Wisconsin in September where people hollow out the huge pumpkins and they paddle them in a race, and I'm like, that just seemed kind of like an unlikely craft. Let's put it that way. The weirdest thing I saw somebody turn one into is a hookah. Okay.
Dennis Leary says the reason why he didn't get into drugs because he didn't want to get into carpentry. I mean, but of course you live in Wisconsin. You know, we got pumpkins everywhere, so what the hell? Let's just go. We'll just hollow these things out. Let's jump inside and see how far down the river we can float. But
and afterwards, you drink out of it, I guess.
Yes.
I don't know.
I don't think I want to drink out of a big pumpkin someone's been sitting in there, you know.
No.
That's
no.
You don't know what they've been eating. Yeah.
Oh goodness. Yeah, it was a weird story. It was fun. I agree with Joe though. I think that the idea of chunking a pumpkin sounds a lot more fun than drinking out of one.
Oh yes.
So.
I do too. There's a lot of videos and things out there. But so yeah, after you get done with your drink, making your stuff on this, then pumpkin chunks and it is.
I actually saw a pumpkin chunking cannon at Comic-Con in New York a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, really?
It was one of the air cannon ones. It was mounted to the back of a large truck.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I can't imagine they were using it since they were in downtown Manhattan, so.
Did somebody forget to unload the cannon?
Why is there a hole in this window? And what's that all over the wall?
Where's Donald Trump at?
Donald Trump's standing there, but his head's missing. He just got a big pumpkin there with a big smile on his face. No, I'm sure that you probably would have. Never mind.
That was mean of me. I'm sorry.
That's really. Okay. All right. Well, let's get on to our next topic.
Isn't that illegal?
No, it's not.
It's illegal.
No, it's not. Yes, it is. No, it isn't.
When it comes to Halloween and laws, there are actually laws out there that revolve around costumes and things like that, especially during Halloween. If you live in California, for example, if you want to wear a mask and go out in public, you have to get a permit from the sheriff. It says no person shall wear a mask or disguise in public without on the street without a permit from the sheriff. I did some research onto this particular one. And it seems like this one goes back to when the KKK was around, and they didn't want people putting on hoods and going out and causing mayhem and causing people to riot or start riots anyway, and use the guise of Halloween or whatever. So that's just one. Another one is in Missouri. If you go out trick or treating and you're past the 8th grade, then you will get fined. It says here, we believe that Halloween is for little children, said the mayor, told St. Louis Post-Dispatch. I think we all know that whose house they're going to toilet paper. Yeah,
What a load of crap.
Yes.
You don't even figure out how to melt the tip of a shaving cream can until you're a teenager.
That's right. And another one, if you're in Alabama, according to Section 13A through 14 through 4, it says that fraudulently pretending to be a clergyman will get you arrested and fined. So if you go out and you're in Alabama and you want to go out looking like a gigantic priest or dressed like me, then you're going to get fined. Thank goodness I am not in Alabama. Otherwise, they'd be knocking on my door right now and going, you're going to jail. Oh, yeah. Joe, your thoughts?
Yeah, a lot of towns or cities have oddball local ordinances that often make lists of funny laws like this one. And the most outrageous law on this list is, like you mentioned, the Alabama law. That's a state law. Nowhere in the entire state of Alabama are you allowed to dress up like a religious leader, unless, of course, you are one.
Right.
But that makes me wonder, how do they know?
Right.
I could dress in a chef coat and a hat and be the high priest of the Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster. I mean, in my hometown, we have a Buddhist monastery, and the monks go to the supermarket wearing orange robes. If someone wears an orange robe in the state of Alabama, does that violate the law?
I don't know. I think with these people, they just want to protect because they're protecting Christianity. It's a priest. I guess if you say you're going out there and you're pretending to be a Muslim priest, I don't know what they call those people, rabbis.
Imams.
Imams. Okay, imams.
Imams.
And if you go out dressed like an imam, would they care? It's just for, as far as I know, it's just for priests, but I don't know.
And Sikhs wear their like fancy turbans all the time, so like how they know which one is the religious leader and which one isn't.
That's right,
you know?
Exactly. There's a lot of weird things going on out there, especially with that. Connie, your thoughts?
One of the other ones here was it's illegal to wear dark sunglasses or a hood, and that was in Dublin, Georgia, and I thought, well, that must really put a cramp in the KKK style.
Oh, yeah.
No, when they say here in, I'm reading, the whole thing too. I found a website that actually spelled out these laws, and it says, when it says Code 1975, is that the year that it was enacted?
I think so.
Yeah, or is that just another
yeah.
thing? Okay, so yeah, no, I don't know. I think sometimes a lot of these laws, it's like you have people who are bored with too much time on their hands. They're like the school monitor, hall monitor,
Yeah,
that strangely had too much power, and they're just out there to ruin everybody else's day.
Oh yeah, they didn't have any fun as a kid, so they're just like, let's screw everybody else. I didn't get no trick or treat candy. Fuck you.
Or there's
Exactly.
a public official like on the town board or whatever, and they get a complaint from somebody who complains about everything. So like, fine, shut up, I'll pass a law.
Yeah. I think that the police might find it really strange. I wonder if anybody actually would call these things in.
Yeah, well, you'd be surprised. There's always somebody out there that's a killjoy. So, and that's it. And it says there also in Dublin, Georgia, if you go dressed like the Blues Brothers, because if you're wearing a hat or sunglasses. What if it's just sunny outside on Halloween?
In California, that would be true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I expect the crotchety old man. I would have gotten away with it too if it hadn't been for you dumb teenagers.
and it's Alabama. They're down on the Gulf Coast. It's like
Right.
Florida weather all year round.
Oh yeah, pretty much.
Like if they're not wearing sunglasses in January, then
Yeah, they think there's something wrong with you.
It's a quota device. That's what this is.
Yes. Connie, do you have any other thoughts on this, or?
Oh no. I'm just actually too. The big sunglasses. And when I think about Southern sheriffs, I think about those mirror sunglasses.
Oh,
the aviator glasses.
Yeah. It's like, wait.
you get they get the cops down there. They're got mirror sunglasses on the inside.
I look good. and they starch their uniforms on the inside, so you never see them sweat.
Oh yeah, well that's why they're so grumpy down there, is because they starch their underwear and no one can sit straight. They got crunchy underwear.
No, that's about it.
Okay.
Crazy laws.
I'm gonna have a nightmare tonight about a Southern cop who puts his head in my car window and goes, "I smell the reefer, boy."
Just look at him and say, "I smell bacon."
I smell bacon.
And all I see is my reflection in his big sunglasses.
Just blink at him underneath your burqa.
Yeah, just
eyes. He won't be able to resist you, Joe.
FYI, I'm a man.
don't tell him that. Just tell him that. Just raise your voice and go, "Hi, officer. Did I do something wrong?" And then flash your eyes and see what he does.
If you touch my breast, I'll scream.
Speaking of doing things wrong, let's get on to the next topic for this evening.
Hold it right there, Bob. What kind of civilized people eat the body and blood of their savior?
And tonight, we're going to be talking about Halloween myths of omens and death. We're going to be finally finishing out the Halloween myths segment for October, thankfully. And we'll be getting on to our regular stuff come next week. But just to give you an example before we start our time, there's this one. It says, if you hear steps behind you on Halloween night, don't turn around, because death is following you and will take you if you do. Well, I think this is absurd, because
No,
if
that
you
one's
hear
real.
It's real. Okay.
That happened to me.
You died, huh?
No,
Well,
I turned around. It was death. I was like, "What are you doing?" We had some words. I had to call the cops. I had to get a restraining order. He's not allowed within 500 feet of me now.
Oh, is that what happened? Okay.
Yes. Real pain in the ass. Had to go to court a whole bunch of times.
Last time I had death following me, they had a wedding ring. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, I said to him, I was like, "Why don't you go follow Packard Sonic? He's in Wisconsin." If you hold up a sign about religion, he'll even stop his truck and get out and argue with you. It's not like you have to look for him; he'll find you.
This is true. This is true. This is true. But anyway, we're gonna start our timer here, and timer is right here. There it is, and timer starts now. Connie, your thoughts?
Oh, a lot of the omens seem to do with birds. You know, a bird flying in the window of a sick person is ominous of death, or crows are seen as harbingers of messengers between heaven and, of the dead people. And I found an article that's tried to explain it. It says, because birds can easily move between the earth and sky, humans have long viewed our feathered friends as a link between the temporal and spiritual worlds. Not surprisingly, a large number of superstitions center on birds as harbingers of death. A bird flying into a home through a door or a window, and possibly even landing on the back of a chair, is considered an omen of death for someone in the household. And similarly, a bird sitting on a windowsill looking in or tapping its beak against the glass,
it means it wants in. Hey, he goes, hey, I want in. Hey.
He's kissing his reflection is probably what he's doing. But yes, and then seeing an owl in the day or hearing it hooting at any time is another portent of death. Another common portent of death would be a black dog. Seeing a black dog is a warning sign, or a white rabbit, white hare as it was called.
A white rabbit. Isn't it? Then isn't there a song that has that in there?
Some of the stranger ones that I found was an old English belief that if you see an adder by your front door, it portends death. And I'm going, adders are poisonous, aren't they?
Yeah, I think they are. So if I'm wrong, someone correct me. Unless they're watching the TV show Blackadder, and then in which case, then you're not going to die. You're just going to be entertained.
Oh, really? What is that?
Yes.
It's a type of snake.
And actually, one of the weirder ones too. Oh, so many of them are from Britain. They're really superstitious. I don't know, or they're prolific in writing this stuff. But if you see a apple tree which blooms out of season while there's still fruit on it, is an omen of death in the family. And if the ashes of the fire are spread smoothly over the hearth on New Year's Eve and footprints leading in the direction of the door are found in the morning, someone in the family will die during the year. We said this all month though. Superstitions and things. We look for patterns. We look for patterns. Just watched the movie The Croods the other night. And
I have yet to watch that one.
It was fun. Here is this basically Cro-Magnon cave family, and they stay alive by being afraid of everything. Anything new is bad, and
fire bad.
It's exactly. It was so funny.
Yeah. Let's bring it back to the other stuff.
So anyway, I just think that there's so many here that it's happenstance, obviously.
Oh yeah.
But it's funny. It's funny what people have thought over the years. There's no end of these things.
Oh yeah, there's all kinds of.
Death is what we obviously fear the most, I think.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, since death is a big factor out there, it's something that we all have to deal with eventually. So we build myths around it because it's something we cannot fully explain. Joe, your thoughts on the omens of death on Halloween?
I have no thoughts. No, I'm kidding. No, building on what Connie said, a lot of them have to do with birds, but humans have looked to birds for fortune telling and omens for a really long time. Even the Romans looked at bird signs and even bird droppings and
bird entrails. They would
exactly.
They cut a bird open and then they read the guts and everything like that, and then you take the bones, throw them at the air, and they all point to Colonel Sanders' house.
Right. Some cultures roll the bones of birds, chicken bones usually, and they can tell they supposedly tell the future and fortunes with that.
Yeah.
So yeah, birds are often used.
Mine said buy more chicken. Sorry.
A common one that you hear people actually talk about is if you dream about death, which is like Like when you wake up and you dream about a loved one dying, of course that's going to bother you. So then you're like worried, like, well, is it really going to happen? Well, no, it was just a dream. And,
right. I've had. There's also ones where if you dream about death, if you die in the dream, you die in real life. It's like I know this is false.
Right.
I know this is false because I've done it in my dream on purpose. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
I got bit by a werewolf in a dream, and I turned into a werewolf. That I woke up fine. I was okay.
Of course, every full moon.
Sometimes I wake up naked in the zoo after a full moon. I don't know how I got there.
Yeah.
And on Halloween too, right? One of the things is also that if you see a spider on Halloween, it's supposed to be a loved one watching over you, and then you whack it with a newspaper. And they go, "Fuck! I chose the wrong way to come back and watch them."
I always hated you, Uncle Ted.
You're so creepy.
You're in the bathroom, you're taking a shower to see those spider come down. Yes. That's that creepy uncle that you've been trying to avoid.
Uncle.
That pervy uncle, yes.
Still watching me in the shower. Go away. No means no.
My mom said blah, blah, blah. My mom said something funny today about spiderwebs. She said that you walk through a spiderweb and you do a week's worth of aerobics classes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God. Yes.
Oh, my God. Try to get that stuff off your face. And you look like a fool because no one else can see the spiderweb except for you.
Exactly, but you feel it all over everything. You're like, Spider-Man here! Oh, my God!
Another one referring back to birds, it says if a bird flies into a sick person's window, it means the person will die soon. Well, you take the timing on that alone is pretty coincidental because there's going to be a lot of people out there that have birds flying into their windows, and for sure that some of those people are going to be sick, and some are going to live, and some are going to die. So there are odds out there of this happening, but it's not. There's no correlation between the two. Anybody else have any last thoughts? We have about 20 seconds left.
Oh, well, here's another one. To carry an axe in some places a hoe into a house will bring about a death in the family, according to a widespread
Yeah, every time I brought a hoe in,
superstition.
my ex would always kill me.
The belief seems to have its roots in the old Scottish tradition that it takes a spade indoors. To take a spade indoors is very unlucky. The tool symbolizes the profession of the grave digger and thereby death.
Right. I was talking about a totally different hoe. Anyway,
I would kill my husband if he brought a hoe in the house too. Yeah, and I'm not a violent person.
Well, anyway, this concludes all of our myths revolving around Halloween. So, again, like I said before, we're going to be getting back to our regular discussions next week. But we thought for this month we'd do something a little bit fun. But, yeah, these things are out there. Do they mean anything? No. I don't think they mean anything at all. But, some of it's just for fun, and have fun with it. It's Halloween, after all. All right, let's get on to our next topic for this evening.
Fly me to the moon, let me play among the stars, let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars.
And on tonight's Did You Know They're an Atheist? And being this is the Halloween season, we thought we'd cover somebody that was passed on to the great beyond of nothing, because there's nothing after you die. But we thought we'd pick somebody who was an atheist and who wrote very scary stories. His name would be Howard Phillips Lovecraft, also known more commonly as H.P. Lovecraft. He was born on August 20th, 1890, died in March 15th, 1937. He was an American author who achieved posthumous fame through his influential works of horror fiction. He's quite prolific in a lot of the stories he wrote. He also said, when it came to religion, Lovecraft himself adopted the stance of atheism early in his life. In 1932, he wrote a letter to Robert E. Howard saying, I quote, "All I say is that I think it is damned unlikely that anything like a central cosmic will, a spirit world, or an eternal survival of personality exists. They are the most preposterous and unjustified of all guesses that can be made about the universe, and I am not enough of a hair splitter to pretend that I don't regard them as errant or negligible moonshine." In theory, I am agnostic, but pending the appearance of radical evidence, I must be classed practically and provisionally as an atheist. So yeah, there you go. He declares it right there that he is an atheist. Oh, your thoughts?
Yeah, I didn't know a whole lot about H.P. Lovecraft. I'm not familiar with his writings and stuff, but I do know that oftentimes atheists will post things from the Cthulhu's mythos online, and there's like a special, I guess, connection there, and now I guess it's apparent it's because he was an atheist, and also he created his own mythology. When I was at the Reason rally, there was actually a guy in the protesters' pen. They actually had a protesters' pen. There was only one guy in it, and he had a sign that said "Cthulhu is coming," and he was screaming, "Cthulhu will get you! Cthulhu will get you! He's coming!" And everybody laughed, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, what the fuck?"
If it had been me, I would have said, "He's coming? Is he going to bring sandwiches?" Because I got.
He was in there screaming that all day.
Really? I would have went up to talk to him and said, I need sandwiches. If he's gonna come, make sure he brings sandwiches and some
sodas. You would have gone up and debated him.
Well, yeah, I probably would have done that too.
Be like, no, Eris is coming.
No, Eris is coming. The great spaghetti monster's coming. But
yeah, because we picked him for this show, I am a lot more interested in who he was and his writings. I found an archive online of some of his stories, including the Cthulhu one, and I also found a cool video on YouTube. It's like a little cartoon of like giving you the 411 on Cthulhu, and it shows him coming to Earth during the age of the dinosaurs, and it's really graphic and bloody. He like rips off the head from a triceratops and starts fighting these other aliens with it as a weapon, like shoving it through their chest, and there's blood spraying everywhere, and I'm like, oh my god, this is horrible, I gotta read the story. But yeah, he wrote about a lot of actual locations, like he lived in Rhode Island, so he wrote about a lot of places in Rhode Island, Massachusetts, New York, a few places around the world. He also wrote about fictional locations, and one of them was Arkham, Massachusetts. And Arkham is a name that's used in other horror fiction. It's the name of the asylum in Batman, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was used in, I think, a Scooby-Doo episode. It was used in a real Ghostbusters episode.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, so...
I remember they did. I think they did Cthulhu in the real Ghostbusters. I think. I don't know. It's been a long time since I watched that cartoon, though.
Yeah, and it was the total, tip of the hat to H.P. Lovecraft. Like, he is a pretty influential, horror writer.
They used Cthulhu, as I remember, they reused Cthulhu in South Park in one episode too. So
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. And it's not just Lovecraft. Like, he created the Cthulhu mythos, but other writers have also picked it up and written stories about it. So it's become kind of like a thing,
Yeah, people they're like, oh, this is a great monster. What can we do with it? So
exactly.
Yeah, it's just like the
Jesus.
Jesus.
Be a new alien race on Star Trek.
Yeah, it's just like the Jesus story. What can we do with this story? Make more out of it.
Let's write some more gospels. Maybe one day somebody will think this is historic. No, that's ridiculous. They're just stories.
Right. I had to get that in there. Connie, your thoughts?
I had never read Lovecraft either. I spent so much of my life reading the Bible, wasting my time on that, and I'm regretting it. But I did go ahead and read The Call of Cthulhu, and it was really quite good. And his H.P. Lovecraft basically promotes what is called the cosmic horror, that life is incomprehensible to human minds, and the universe is fundamentally inimical to the interests of man. Ergo, Lovecraft's stories express a profound indifference to human beliefs and affairs, and I think that Cthulhu actually kind of encapsulates that. It's just so interesting, and it's funny because I know that I've watched movies where he's been referenced, and I always thought they were talking about Stephen King, which is interesting because Stephen King is quoted as saying that Lovecraft was the single largest figure to influence his writing. And so I'm going, oh, okay, so that explains why I see it echoed in so much, the movie In the Mouth of Madness with Sam Neill. I thought that was Stephen King because it reminded me a lot of King's work. And no, it was King also because Carpenter is a friend with King, but it was primarily Lovecraft that they're talking about. And the only thing I have to say about Lovecraft, and it's what a lot of people say, is that he had a real thing about race, ethnicity, and class. But then again, given the time at the turn of the century, I'm not sure we could expect him to be any different. He also really was afraid. He touted the risks of the scientific era, and evidently in a letter to James Morton in 1923, Lovecraft specifically points to Einstein's theory on relativity as throwing the world into chaos and making the cosmos adjust. So I'm like, well, that's kind of strange, you know. But no, his stance about religion, I have that quote. I actually wrote the whole thing you read earlier down because I'm like, that's really interesting. Such a man of letters, such a man of writing, and it's sad that he was poor. He died a pauper in his time. He was never really recognized for what he did. And
so going out and buying his books now are not going to help him any, huh?
Well, I think they help us. I think that they're just, it's interesting. It was really interesting science fiction, and I really have trouble with science fiction, to be honest. But I really did like it, and I'm going to go ahead and read more of it because I was intrigued.
Yeah, I've been familiar with the name for a while. I've never actually read any of his books, but if I get the time, I will actually sit down and do that. All right, I think that's it for us tonight. If you're out there and you want to pick up some of his books, H.P. Lovecraft, he was an atheist, and he was a pretty decent author. Okay, we're going to get going. All right, if you want to get in contact with us, or if you'd like to make a donation to the show, if you go to patreon.com/Packard Pokes At, if you want to make a donation, if you donate $50, you get a free hat, not this one. Because
only you can be Pope.
That's right, only I can be Pope Packard Sonic.
Well, if I want to be Pope Packard Sonic on Halloween in the state of Alabama?
Well, then you might get arrested. But if you donate $100, you get a free T-shirt, and it's not this shirt. And if you donate $200, you get a free sweatshirt, and it would greatly appreciate it. It would help me keep the lights on, the internet flowing, and keep bringing this great show to you every week. But in the meantime, if you'd like to contact us, we'll tell you how to do that right now.
Would you like to contact us? Your host, Packard Sonic, and his very honored and crazy co-hosts, with occasional guest hosts, enjoy your comments or suggestions. You can reach us 28 hours a day, 8 days a week on A Can on a String, Smoke Signals, Star Trek Communicator? Those may not work, but you can contact us on Twitter as Packard Pokes At, and by email at packardpokesat@gmail.com. You can also listen and join in the conversation live Friday nights at 9 p.m. Central Time on vaughnlive.tv/PackardPokesAt. You can find past shows on iTunes, YouTube, Mixlr Radio, and Stitcher Radio. Help us out by rating, commenting, subscribing, retweeting, and reposting the show wherever you can. Click the like button on Facebook/PackardPokesAt to join in the conversation. Would you like to help keep the show running and pick up some awesome Packard Pokes At merchandise? Visit cafepress.com/PackardPokesAt today and buy hats, shirts, or one of over 300 other items that are also available. Visit packardpokesat.wordpress.com for links to the news articles covered tonight and more information on this or other episodes. We hope you enjoy the show. Thanks for listening and your support.
And thank you, Joe. JM, you hit that mark every time.
I would just like to add that I got a Packard Pokes At t-shirt. It's awesome. Everybody should get one.
Yes.
I wear mine every time I rob a liquor store. Ski mask, check. Handgun, check. Packard Pokes At t-shirt, check. I'm ready to go. Put the fucking money in the bag.
Well, if you can't be famous, you can be infamous. But anyway, and instead of a gun, you should take a Packard Pokes At glass with you, a mug like this, and threaten it.
I tried that. They don't put the fucking money in the bag.
Take a tap. Take
put it in the cup. Put it in the cup. Yes.
Shake.
Take your shanked pumpkin in with you. But anyway, and tell them, this is what I'm going to do to you, Shank. No.
Fill it up.
You don't even want to know what this pumpkin's filled with.
Oh, one last thing before we go. This will be the last show that will be featured on Atheism TV. So we're going to say goodbye to Atheism TV. And there it goes. And we'll be back on our own again as we were before. But
I love you, Atheism TV.
Yes.
Thank you, Atheism TV.
Thank you for giving us a shot and sitting on your channel and being on your channel. And
writing all those dirty text messages to me late at night.
Right. And we want to thank everybody for coming that was in the chat room, and you people are wonderful for putting up with us and coming to the show every Friday night and sitting waiting for us to get through all our little technical glitches occasionally. But anyway, of course, it wouldn't be Packard Pokes At if there's not technical glitches. So anyway.
That's how we roll.
That's how we roll. Anyway.
Technical glitches, what's that?
Yeah. All right, well, we're going to get out of here. Thanks, everybody, for coming. This has been Packard Pokes At. We just poked at your news.
Close the coffin. Mummy says it's a wrap.